How is everybody doing? I am Chronic Mayhem, and today we are taking a look at the HexGaming PHANTOM PS5 Pro Controller. Let's get into it. Alright, let's get all the boring stuff out of the way. HexGaming did send me this controller for review. No money changed hands, no agreements were made on what I can and cannot say, and all my thoughts and opinions in this video are my own. This was a product I was really excited to get on my desk. In the sea of Xbox-style Pro controllers, there's not that many Pro PS5 controllers that have 4 back buttons and give you the option to switch back and forth from mouse click-like triggers to adaptive triggers. So this is a much welcomed product to bring more competition to that space. Today in this video, we're going to be going over all the aspects of this controller, covering all of its features and putting it through some tests. But first, let's see what you get in the box. So this controller is going to come in a sleeve such as this. It's a pretty handsome box. It's got some shiny logo and text on the front here, and it's got "Customize Your Victory" right here on the front. I wasn't aware that that was HexGaming's motto, but it's not bad. As you see here, we have a all in English, except for down here, but mostly all in English on the back here, which is a nice change of pace from the other controllers I've been reviewing lately. And as you see here, 3-year-olds cannot use this controller. Apparently because, you don't want them to choke on the analog stick caps. And in that box, you get another box. So in here is the main star of the show. This is the carrying case for the controller, and this is a really nice carrying case. I like when Pro controllers come with carrying cases. I think it's a nice touch. So when you first open this, the controller will be sitting here. It will not have the thumbsticks on it. Those will be in here, which is actually a good idea because you got a lot of stuff up here and the netting. And if you have the thumbstick caps on here on the top, when it's closed and zipped up, these sticks are going to be like going off in all weird directions, all cockeyed. And you really don't want your analog sticks to be resting in off-center positions. It's not great for the controller. So when you open the box, it will be sitting here. You have this really nice kind of little box here to keep all of your extra thumbstick caps. The taller ones are on the taller side, obviously. You get a tall dome, 2 larger concave. I think this is like the 360 style almost, where it's larger. And you get a short dome over here, which is what I like to keep on the controller, and a short concave. So this is a nice kind of case. I really like that it kind of just fits right in here. And you can, when you're traveling, you can bring them all with you everywhere. In this top part, you get a really long 13-foot long cable, which is really nice with metal ends. So this is metal right here with the HexGaming logo. See if I get autofocus to work. HexGaming logo right there. And this is and on the other side as well. This is one of the nicest cables I've received with a product. It's long, it's braided, it's really high quality. This is a nice cable, and I think this is going to be my main cable, I think, for all my controllers. In this, you have all your calibration equipment for this controller. One of the interesting things about this controller is that you can calibrate it with this little tool here, and we will go over that later in the review. And lastly in here, you have these analog stick protector rings. These are like little rings that would go over the stem right here of the analog stick so that you don't have to worry about, it grinding against the anti-friction rings and it leaving sort of like an indent all the way around. Now, really, that shouldn't happen. It should glide nicely around. But if you're worried about that, you can use these. Though I do have a comment about these later as well. And I apologize again for the autofocus. I will fix it. Really great list of accessories here, or included accessories. Very happy with all those. At the bottom of the box, make sure to lift this out when you buy it, because here you will have your warranty card here that talks about the lifetime warranty of this controller, and we will talk about that later as well. you have the quick start guide for the Hall effect sticks and how to recalibrate it. This is very important. You should want to hold on to this. And then this is a quick start guide for remapping the back buttons. This is also in a bunch of different languages as well, which is nice. But it is mostly just black and white, but that's really all you need with a manual. All right, now let's talk about the controller itself. The unit I received is the blacked out version. It also comes in white, gray, blue, and a transparent version as well. I like this version. I think it looks pretty clean. It has the matte black on the sides and the touchpad, and the gloss black on these face buttons and D-pad. It has no symbols, so that's nice and clean. It has black anti-friction rings as well. The button is blacked out. On the back, you have rubberized grips here as well that feel very nice. You have 4 mappable buttons. You have your profile switch button right here. You have 6 programmable profiles that you can switch in between. This is the buttons that allow you to switch from your full pull adaptive trigger back to your mouse click here for FPS games. And on top, all of your typical PS5 attachments like your microphone jack here and the touchpad, etc. Here on the touchpad, you have HexGaming's motto again, customize your victory, and here Phantom HexGaming logos. My one subtle complaint, I guess, is I do wish these were not here. I wish this was just solid black or maybe just a HexGaming logo into center just to keep it a little bit more clean. But this is nice white lettering. It's not flashy or anything like that. So this isn't bad. It's just, I kind of like the whole clean look, but it's not that big a deal. The other issue that I have, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, is I think this may be an issue only on the black one. This type of matte coating shows hand grease very easily. See there, I just wipe it. And now it does kind of fade away rather quickly, so it's not that bad. But after a couple hours of playing, and touching your hands all over it, it does look a little messy. So you want to make sure you just kind of have a cloth nearby and wipe it off a little bit. Comfort and build qualities wise, this is a really solid controller. It feels great in the hands.
That's what she said. Excuse me?
It having buttons instead of paddles like some other controllers, they don't get in the way. You don't even have to touch them if you don't want to. You can just kind of let your fingers hang down. And it just feels like you're holding a standard PS5 controller, which is definitely not a bad thing. I think a PS5 controller is is a very comfortable controller. And with the rubber grips here only being on the back, I think that's also very nice. I have zero complaints about the build quality or the comfort of this controller. Nothing, rattles when you shake it. And this is very solid, very premium, very happy with the feel and build quality of this Pro controller. The back buttons on this controller are very nice. I was happy with them. They have a nice mouse click to them. They do have an audible sound, but it's pretty quiet. It's quieter than the mouse clicks on my Razer mouse here, for example, but they're nice and crisp. You know exactly where they are, but then you also are not going to accidentally hit them as well because they're not sticking way out there. You can have your fingers relaxed if you want to play like a relaxing like MMO or whatever and not worry about hitting them. And then for FPS, they're in a good location. The way I think it's most comfortable to hold them is to have your middle finger rest on these bottom ones, and then you can easily, let's see if I can show it like this. Okay, I thought this would be a more effective way to demonstrate how I use the back button system on this controller. So you have the 4 back buttons here, and as you can see, the top ones are very long, which actually works out really well for me because I only use my middle fingers when I have 4 buttons on the back of a controller. And the way these are placed, my middle fingers can very comfortably and easily rest on the bottom buttons here, and then I can still hit those top buttons whenever I need to using this part of your middle finger. So you can still hit the bottom ones as needed, and the top ones are still very easy to activate as well. And this type of back paddle system is perfect for me. Like I said, I only use my middle finger on any Pro controllers. Now, you could hold it like this if you want. I think this would be very uncomfortable. It feels awkward to me to hold it that way, and it feels like I don't have as much of a sturdy grip on the controller if you are trying to use your ring fingers and your middle fingers. So to me, this controller was really designed to be held like this and to use your middle fingers to activate all 4 buttons on the back of the controller. And in that aspect, the buttons are in fantastic locations. They're not in the way, but they're also just in the right spot for when you want them. And when you're playing like a more relaxing game and you don't want to use the back buttons, you really don't have to worry about accidental presses because you can just relax your fingers back here and not worry about accidentally hitting them. To remap these, it's really simple. You just hit the setting button on the back here, you hold it for 3 seconds, it blinks blue 3 times, and then you hold down the back button you want and the face button you want it assigned as. It will blink red for 3, and then that will tell you that it is assigned. And then you can move on and do all the others, or just hold it down for 3 seconds to exit the mode. The manual that it comes with has a nice guide here. It lists everything out in text right here, but then it also shows you in pictures as well. So it's pretty impossible to mess up. It's nice and simple, and it's really cool being able to map 6 profiles to this controller using no software at all. This controller is one of the few on the market that allows you to switch between full adaptive triggers and a mouse click here like that. It's a very short pull. I believe it's 1.5 millimeters. It's very quick. The mouse click is crisp and satisfying, similar to the back buttons here as well. And these are great triggers. They're much better like on the DualSense Edge, where those are just plastics stoppers that you slide in and they still have a ton of slop. That is definitely not the case with these. It's nice and short and crisp, about perfect. The face buttons on this controller are stock membrane from what I can tell. They feel like membrane switches. They for sure don't feel like mechanical. But as far as membrane goes, they're not bad. They're about the same as a stock PS5 controller, and it's the same story on the D-pad as well. Now, one of the pros of having 4 mappable buttons on the back is hopefully you're not going to be using these as much as you would on a standard controller. So it's up to you if mechanical buttons on the face buttons is a big deal to you or not. Me personally, it's a nice to have, but I'd rather have nicer back buttons if I am buying a Pro controller, because the back buttons are really the whole point of shelling out more for a premium device like this. One thing I have noticed using this controller, which is kind of a complaint, is the button right here kind of sits down low and it has a lot of pre-travel before you eventually feel the tactile of its activation. Same with the one over here as well. There is a lot of pre-travel as well, but the button sits up a little bit higher, so it's still not that hard to hit. This one's pretty low, and it does use a little bit more effort to make sure you get it down all the way before you feel that tactile bump in there to know that it's been activated. You gotta really, like if you're like this, you gotta really make sure you're pressing hard to get that one. Maybe that's just my unit, but I for sure noticed the pre-travel here was very apparent. One really nice aspect of this controller is that you get this nice little case to keep all of your thumbstick caps in. And you get quite a lot too. You get 4 tall ones here, you get 2 of these kind of like 360 large concave style, and 2 domed tall sticks, and you get 1 short dome and 2 concave, and 1 short of that large 360 style. I do wish we had gotten 2 short domed. That would have been really nice. I don't know who's putting 2 tall domed analog caps on or has a tall on both sides. I don't know anyone that does that. Usually they have a short over here and a tall over there. But more options are always better. And you can get this little additional pack on Amazon as well, which is always nice to see when the accessories are on there. You don't have to go to the manufacturer's website and pay shipping just to buy this little thing. But it's a nice case. You can just have it sit on your desk. So if you're playing a game where you want to switch this out quickly, you can just open this up, pull them out, boom, boom, and you're ready to go. And it has a nice little spot in the carrying case, so you can bring it around with you in there as well. Love to see it. I also wanted to mention something I noticed when trying these joystick protection rings. If you're going to use these, I would calibrate the controller with these on, because if the controller right out of the box and you put these on, a weird side effect I noticed was in Call of Duty, when I tried to put the stick all the way forward to do the tactical sprint, etc., the thickness of these rings kind of stops your controller from reaching the full extent in any direction. So in order to activate that automatic sprint or to push your stick down and click to activate sprint, it's not going to register as that full 100% forward, back, side, etc. due to the thickness of these rings. So if you want to use these rings, recalibrate the controller with these on to make sure it operates like it should. As mentioned earlier, this is the new Hall Effect version of the Phantom. So these are Hall Effect joysticks in here. I'll put a description at the bottom here for the difference between Hall Effect and traditional joysticks. So you should not need to worry about stick drift with these, which is fantastic. And if for some reason you're unlucky and you do get stick drift, you can use the calibration tool, which I will show next, to help correct that. Now, the Hall Effect sticks are using magnets.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets! Oh!
So there's no physical contact within these like a traditional stick, and that is why you should not experience stick drift. The feel of these sticks feels just like a stock analog stick, which is great because I've noticed with some Hall Effect sticks, they feel a little bit looser or they don't have as much stick tension in them as a traditional stick. And I have not noticed that with this. I think they feel great. If you're used to normal PS5 or analog joysticks, I don't think you're going to have any issue with these. They feel fantastic, great tension, and they were very enjoyable to use in games and seemed very accurate. Perhaps one of the most important features of this controller is the calibration kit that it comes with. You have the kit right here. It comes with 2 ribbon cables right here to connect into the controller, and it has a little pry tool to open the door right here to get to it. So you pop it open like this. It is a little difficult to get open, but then once you pop it open, you have this compartment right here where you flip down the little door and you slide the ribbon cable in there and the other end into the tool right here. And then once you're on Gamepad Tester, you can recenter the sticks, reset the circulation, the limits, all that. Instead of showing you guys all this below and stammering through it, I found a great video for those that shows all of that, and I will link that in the description below and give credit to the content creator that created it. So please check that in there for a full detailed guide on how to calibrate these. I love that we have this system. It's fantastic, but my complaint is the ribbon cables. I wish this was just a little short USB-C cable and you had another USB-C port right here instead of kind of trying to slide this kind of fragile ribbon cable into there and locking it in place and then putting the other end of the cable in here. If it was just a little USB-C port here, little USB-C port there, plug, you're done, and then I think that would just be more durable. Now, hopefully you're not going to need to do this very often. It should be only a once in a while thing, if at all. But for the next version, if we could just have another USB-C port here at the bottom, I think that would be a better design. Okay, So I'm going to test the circularity of these sticks before calibrating the controller. So this is straight out of the box. So we will start the test. Now we'll do the left stick first. And we're getting about a value of 9. And now we're going to do the right stick. And we're getting a value of 7 roughly. So let's test one more time just to be sure. And this time, yep, another value of about 9.2 this time, and 7.1, 7.2 again for the right stick. So this is before calibration, right out of the box. Okay, I have now calibrated both left and right Hall effect sticks on this controller, and we are going to retest now. You can see that the axis 0, 1, 2, and 3 now reset to perfect values every time. So that is fantastic. Now we will retest the circularity test. And we're getting 8.7 on the left. And 6.2 on the right. So we have a small improvement. And really anything under 10% is acceptable and will not cause any adverse effects in gameplay. You can see there is some bright red on the left side, especially on the left stick. But again, that has not caused any negative effects in gameplay. These sticks have felt very accurate, very smooth in game, and I'm very happy with them. And again, anything under 10% is a good value. Here we are on the HexGaming website for the Phantom PS5 Pro controller. Now you can buy this controller here on the HexGaming website and on Amazon. However, I want to let you guys all know you do not get the same package with both. So here on the HexGaming website, if you click shop now, this is the version that we are reviewing in this review. I will switch to the Hall effect version because that is what we have in front of us. And you can get this complete package for $279. And it does have the carrying case, the charging cable, and all of the thumbstick caps that I've shown. On Amazon, you can also purchase this controller, and here it is $249.99. However, you do not get the carrying case and you do not get the 13-foot charging cable. You have to buy those separately, and that is an extra $25. Those are listed on Amazon, but again, not in this package. So I just wanted to make that clear to everyone. I will leave links to both in the description, and I will have a 5% off link for the package on the HexGaming site below as well for my viewers. Here we are now on the warranty page on the HexGaming website. So the Phantom PS5 Pro controller does come with a lifetime warranty, but that warranty only covers some specific things. So here the lifetime warranty covers button malfunction, joystick drift, and other manufacturing defects. The fact that it specifically lists joystick drift as covered under the lifetime warranty, I think is a big win. There's some other pro controller companies that will only cover joystick drift for 45 days. All right, let's wrap this thing up. What are my final thoughts about this controller? I think this is a very well-made, high-quality PS5 Pro controller. I've had a lot of fun using this controller. The back button system, I really enjoy. I think they're great. The mouse click buttons on the back work really well. Again, I do wish they just had a little more tactile feedback or were just a smidge harder to push, but I think it's probably the best PS5 back paddle system I have used yet. Another nice touch is the trigger system. You have the full adaptive triggers and you just flip a switch and you now have mouse click, very short pull. I think it's 1.5 millimeters pull when you switch that to the smart triggers or the clicky triggers. Those work fantastic. The look of this controller is nice and stealthy. The coating does leave some grease on there, but just wipe your controller down when you're done using it, and it shouldn't be that big a deal. The face buttons are okay. They're stock, they're membrane, but they're no different than a stock PS5 controller. It is really cool that some aspects of this controller are covered by a lifetime warranty, which is a huge win. And I would like to see more companies do that same route, or at least offer 1 to 2 years on the entire controller. There's some companies out there only offering 3 months, which is absolutely unacceptable when you're buying a premium product. With this controller being $279 for the full package, including the controller, the case, the charging cable, and all the thumbstick caps, I think that's a pretty competitive price for what you're getting. It puts it right in line with a lot of the other high-end pro controllers out there, and this is a off-the-shelf item, so it doesn't have those huge inflated prices of the completely custom controllers. With that, you do lose the ability, to pick like the individual button colors, and different side panels and things like that. But I think the trade-off is you're getting a top of the line pro controller for a pretty reasonable price.
Really nice.
Really, the only other pro controller that I think comes close to this for PS5 controllers is my custom PS5 controller from AIM. Now, there's some things about this that I think this controller does a lot better, and there's some aspects of this controller that I also really like too, like the custom snap panels here, if I can get one off. Like that. But you do pay more extra is not even a word, a higher price for things like that, which you may not necessarily even need, especially if you just want a blacked out controller from the beginning. And please let me know in the comments if you would like to see a direct one-for-one comparison between these two controllers for my next video. I think that could be pretty interesting. And with that, I think we have covered everything we need to for this controller in this video. I am Chronic Mayhem. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, please hit like and subscribe and make sure the bell is clicked so you're notified when I upload my next video. I also stream on Twitch every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and usually at least once on the weekend. A link to that should be appearing about right here. I will also be leaving a link to all my social medias in the description below if you would like to follow me there. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.